Let's get started with the daily debrief. Today was an upvote in this recovery, continuing yesterday's little gains. Slight improvement. The slope of the 10 inches slightly positive. Slope of the 30 remains negative. Crossing the 0 line here. That's favorable. And the slope of the 30 regression line continues to improve. It doesn't get positive until it crosses this dotted line at 0, but now it's at minus 0.25. This is a normal-ish 30 period now. It's back within the bounds of normal. So signs of recovery occurring. Now let's shift to the daily report for the 8th of March. We have just a little room to work here. Back to bullish normal conditions. The volatility has chilled out a little bit, and you can see that with the risk C has continued to march north. This is very favorable. Still neutral on an annual and a 10-day basis. Slope price relative to the 200-day is white bullish. That's improving. The slope of the 50 is improving. The ADX is lowering, but the bulls are recovering, and so that's why that trendingness number is shifting down, even though the strength of the bulls is improving. So that's the way to interpret that. Risk Z and the risk index continued to improve, favoring long-term swing trades. No signals in channeling and overreaction. The Max Payne's, Nike, ExxonMobil, Caterpillar, Walmart, McDonald's remains similar. Dow Tactical Summary, plenty of things still favorable on the auto framer. McDonald's, Nike, and Caterpillar, big leaders today. Now I want you to notice that Nike, Caterpillar were the big winners today. So it's not unusual to see Max Payne candidates like that giving large recoveries. That's evidence of buying value on sale, and that's why as a lead-in to finding short-term moves or swing trading one day at a time, that's a very stable and robust technique. In the tactical summary for the ETFs, plenty of dojis. Oil is in a channeling signal. Only a handful test out well on the auto framer. Big winners today. Big winner today, Mexico. Suffering in oil, Brazil, metals and mining. Interesting anomaly between Mexico positive and Brazil short, which is why Latin America is basically flat. So you get some differentiation by countries rather than by sector there. Pinch report. dominating by technology here, Intel, this Tech Spider, the NASDAQ 100, Cisco, Apple. The Russell continues to be the strongest of the three U.S. indexes. It gained some more today. The negative stretches, again, these are those value plays: Walmart, Home Depot, McDonald's, ExxonMobil. Boeing had been so strong that its stretch of 0.07% above is actually a standard deviation low. That's how strong Boeing has been. And so now that it's above its Bollinger Band mean, that's definitely something I'm going to stock and try to get back on board in Boeing. Regression line fractals. Again, this catches the deep value plays: McDonald's, Procter, Walmart, Johnson & Johnson, ExxonMobil. And again, notice all of the 4 out of the 5 here that are above their long-term fair value. These relative strength leaders are all in tech, so that's really where it's working. Today was a favorable vote up. It continued the gap down gains and continued buying pressure. Still has to get above 280 to really be persuasive, but that's where all signs are pointing to. The slope of the 30 is improving. It's crossed its 10-period moving average. This often signals a local swing in the swing posture from down to up. That's how I'm reading that. See, the recovery is occurring. Every other time that it's penetrated down to 2, there's been sharp recoveries. I think that's what we're seeing begin to unfold. The 90 is resting comfortably now back at Z plus 1. The 10 is beginning to improve. The 30 is already improving and is back into the low range of normal. Even though the river is rolling over, this looks still favorable. But again, it has to get above 280 to really be persuasive. And that's everything I want to cover from the daily. Now we're just going to do some rapid fire case studies posted in the live chat room today from the intraday and the swing traders. Here's one in the VIX, short term, rolling over on it in a downtrend short, and beautiful exit. How nice is that? And then starting another leg down. Very well done. Here's one of mine in the diamonds. We had an uptick and a crossover below the 0 line in MACD histogram, so I'm starting to stalk with a 1, 2, 3. We had a PSAR flip, so I get long. No follow through. The PSAR cut up to it. It started to roll over again. I cashed. Didn't get this play because the river was so narrow and I had a long side bias. And then it crosses the 0 line, so I'm re-entering on the PSAR flip in a 1, 2, 3. Make some bank here when it rolls over and get the PSAR flip. I decide to lock it in because we're approaching lunchtime. Get short and locking in a nice move from about 248.75 down to 247.85. So move about $1 on a 50-cent risk. Here's some work in Walmart. This one was a nice long play and cashed at the crossover. Well done. Short and a cover, maybe premature. I don't know. I don't begrudge that. I would say there is a re-entry available here when the MACD histogram line or MACD line crosses the 0 line. So on a recollapse here, there may have been something here or here, and still plenty of goodness. I think that's not a bad effort at getting it. It's already kind of deep into the move, And so I like the profit preservation, or the capital preservation here. I would say after this period of stability, notice you get a Z pinch, and this MACD histogram line is really, this is characteristic of an intraday Z3 pinch or sideways quiet channel, and it would be, when it begins to emerge, that's quite often the direction that it's leaning for the next move. And so somewhere in about here, we're stalking the long side. This is failure to fail further right in here. And then followed by this, when it crosses the zero line, there's some room in there. And then on the first leg up, nothing wrong with cashing and making some bank here. And then you have a low and a higher low. And notice the crossover occurs at a higher condition here. And that gets you into this move. This is a nice size bite from Johnson & Johnson, which had been a max pain. Had a nice intraday move in the morning, and then get the crossover and everything's declining. This is front running the crossing of the zero line, so I like that. Trying to understand why that exit. There may have been other things going on, so I never am opposed to ringing the bell and making some bank, but just notice that this is early in the life cycle of this downward move, and the PSAR is continuing to point the way, so I'm thinking maybe here was a re-entry, or possibly here on a collapsing dragon. Yeah, so then this is about the end of the move here. Notice after an unambiguous move and then a recross to the upside, re-enters that Red River with a PSAR flip. That run is done. And now you got some negotiations going on here between the buyers and sellers at lunchtime. But this is very nicely timed, and let's get all of the juice from the grape. Another very nice bite and cashing the gift. I love that. This uptick and entering the river and crossing the zero line. You can see how this is all failure to fail further. And this might have just been the intraday guys gunning the stops and then taking her long. That's a dollar move. That's about almost a full percentage point of a move. Very nice quiz offering from Jeremy. Thank you, sir. We're looking at 2 minutes here. And this is the spiders. And for international guys, this is a CFD, contract for difference. Big gap down and recovery. Pulls back, finds support. Be getting an SQC. And the MACD line crosses the signal line. That's that stalking. And crosses the zero line in here. And that move is available till here. That's the easier move. So this crossover here from the same depth, if we like this one, we should like this one. And the move is available. Now, this may get you out, but this should get you back in. This next crossover, a low and a higher low, and then crossing the zero line, and there we are. Morning kind of washout, and makes way for steady continuous buy. This runs the stops of the weaker hands, and off we go. Thank you, Jeremy. Now let's see how I did on his solution. Yeah, he found that one. Cash, nice. The short, the second short, and working the channel. That's that long train running. Thank you, Doobie Brothers. And yes, all these are pockets. Well done, Jeremy. You know, research will show that when you design your own test questions and study them, you learn material faster. So this is a great way to get on board with the material. Here's a killer trade in Walmart after a sideways quiet channel. And here is the unambiguous move down, the end of the run, the crossing of the MACD, entering the river, exiting the river, crossing the zero line, bang. Well done. And what an exit. Beautiful. Do that. Well done, Daniel. You can always tell a Sonal chart because of the elegance and the artistry in the markup. And here's where the U.S. is opening. A hybrid frog entry. A reinforcing after, I would call that emerging dragon, or a Z3P continuation. And a beautiful entry on a PSAR flip. If you get out here, as she points out, then that would be certainly a re-entry. And just get the markups here. Just well done. That's the 3-minute chart sequence. And now you can see what that maps to on the 30-minute chart. So somebody's noise is somebody making a living. This was back to that first series in the diamonds that I showed you, the series of 3. This is what it looked like closer up and in real time on the first trade. This one was a morning hook. I bought the crossover here with a stop here, so about 50 cents. Never materialized, failure to follow through, and started rolling out. This came out of, it came to the 0 line and then rolled over, so didn't like it, and then re-entered on a 1-2 and a PSAR flip, and so this, and then again about a 40-cent stop here between here and here, and that's 42 cents. So that's an R, that's an execution R in hand. And 40 cents in the Dow Mini is $200 a contract. Here's another markup from Sonal working on, this is the DAX 1 minute. And a couple nice trades riding the wave down. Again, you can tell it's a Sonal chart from a distance. Just the elegance. And the work she puts in analyzing tells me she's going to win this battle long term. I'm not going to read all these for you, but just to show you the work in the morning from the Eurozone and using the power of collaboration. Jeremy comes online in the morning with the SPY quiz. And so he takes the basic frame, the test, and the solution. Well done. So you can see lots of crosstalk today, lots of really good work being done on the intraday room. And shifting from the primary over to the swing trading room. The closed trade journal is a great place to document your own trades and get some good feedback. Here's some elegant chart work from Bob in the swing trading room. Looking at McDonald's on the, this is on the 2-hour chart. Notice these from a sideways quiet channel, and then the breakdown. This is from the, end of January. How those move, that disturbance in the force, and the PSAR flips. And now after this last cascade from 165 to 150, which is about a 10% move, and you see that this cascading rollover and the signal line crossing the 0 line, that's the indication, the not later than time to get short, and the PSAR flip. So you should be short of this around 162. You get a gift. You're properly short 162 to 155, and then you're given a $5 gift and a little more, and then the 10 inexorably rolls over 1, 2, 3. You should be out here. You can see the 10 roll over, the crossover, and if you're not out here, you should be out in here. And now this crossover continues, and failure to fail further. And now Bob's got this framed on a continuation play from one of those deep discount value symbols that everybody has to buy, with an entry here, target the Bollinger Band mean, Z1, and then the swing high at the top of the dragon. Beautiful stuff. This is Bob analyzing win on dailies. So this is going back to, this is a year's chart, and you can look at these almost as Darvis boxes for chunks of ranges. This amazing run, and then Steve Wynn gets booted, fail, and now you can see failure to fail further. A nice base at the bottom of this box, which was the top of that box, and then a 1, 2, 3. The volatility is collapsing and getting ready to cross back to the upside. We had actually a really nice couple of trades in here intraday in the turbo on those big green candles. Here's Bob looking at the euro yen on a daily. The PSAR flip has occurred, and the unambiguous move down. 1, 2, 3 entry. This is looking, you can start target 1, 2, and 3. Here's one in Walmart. A long, which and then a cash to preserve after the doji move. But I want you to recognize that in downward trends, failure to follow through, this collapse here, there's a collapsing dragon available in here as well, and you're supported by price below the zero line. Here's one from Glenn, setting up a 551W and an entry with a range risk and a price target up in here. Nicely done. Sometimes good things happen. Logical entry, a gift, capital preservation on the second day. I like that. Well done. Luck is preparation meets opportunity. And that looks like our work for today. Well done, guys.